Howdy, it's Sunday, November 10th, and yes, that's right. I'm finally getting ready to actually use the Hiniker air drill here to apply some cover crops, we hope. So I've been screwing with this for a while more today. Had a couple things to work on with getting the electronics kind of set up. Got the egg leader Integra set up so we have auto steer and mapping, and then spent a ridiculous amount of time fooling around with the 3-point again. So there's different sizes of 3-points, and this bar is set up for either a category 3, which would be the arms against the outside of the brackets, or a category 3 narrow, which would be the arms against the inside of the brackets. And I just sort of had the arms in there to try it out, but the problem we were running into was that they were hitting on the inside of the tires, and since I just spent a bunch of money on new tires on this in the spring, I kind of wanted to stop that. Originally was going to move the stop blocks or the sway blocks out so that the arms would be out, but the problem was it didn't seem like, even with the blocks on the outside or the blocks on the inside of the arms so that the arms were out, that was going to stop the arms from hitting the tires. So then I had to put all that crap back. Ended up making some spacers, which probably should have come with the thing, but probably stayed with an owner or two ago, I would guess. So I found some pipe and cut it to the right length and got unhooked, got the pipes in there, got it hooked back up. So now we're set up with the arms at category 3 narrow. Should hold the toolbar steady with the tractor. May need to adjust some stuff with the sway blocks to allow it to sway a little bit, because it seems pretty tight right now, but we're kind of going to see how it acts and then go from there. Also going to need to calibrate. The wheels that I'm using for the seed is not really what the manufacturer recommends for rye, so we're going to just kind of, I guess, make sort of 2 headland passes here. Normally we do 60-foot end rows or headlands, depending on what terminology you use for that. So kind of the pass up, I'm just going to make sure that the thing is planting, all the rows are spitting out seed, and that basically nothing is totally broken. And then when I come around or turn around for the return pass, I'm going to pull off the hose on the end row, which will be on towards the inside of the field, coming back. And basically, I'm going to try to tie a sock on there, and that way the air coming through will escape the sock, and the sock will catch the seed, and then I can weigh the seed over a certain distance and kind of figure out approximately what rate we're getting on, so that we're not getting it on super heavy or super light. So that's basically what's going on. We'll give it a shot and I'll report back after a bit, because I think I'm probably going to need to use both hands and be jumping in and out of the tractor a bunch. So we'll see how things go, and hopefully the next video is from drilling rye at 7 or 8 miles an hour running across the field, and not from the shop trying to fix something. Alright, so I didn't end up calibrating where I thought I was going to, because I don't actually have a label on my gearbox that we use to adjust the rate. So I'm kind of guessing, and I went the wrong direction. So I did a little bit kind of just by eye, and then got my sock hooked up over here. We just did about 500 feet according to the GPS on the monitor. I can see the number of feet that we've traveled. So I just got a sock hooked up on the end of the air tube here. So that way the air goes out and the rye is all in the sock. So we'll weigh that, figure out how far we've gone, and do some math, how much area that would be, and then figure out if we need to turn the rate up or down, or kind of at least where we're at. I weighed the sock before we started, so I know it's about 1 ounce or 0.9 ounces. So we'll subtract that off and then know how much is rye, and then figure out if I need to repeat this or if we're close enough to go with it for the time being. Overall, the drill seems to be working pretty okay. I had one tube get plugged up on one of the additional sensors. Somebody put like a population monitor, I think, on this at some point, because there's some inline sensors on 3 tubes, and they're smaller diameter, and I think that was kind of a choke point, especially when I was going the wrong direction on the rate and pushing out way too much rye probably. So, but overall, we seem to be dropping seed. There's some things that need a little bit of attention, I think, but overall, I think it'll work for what we're doing for the time being. All right, so I think we got things calibrated. The first time I was putting on a little heavy seeding rate, so we ratcheted back the gearbox a little bit, and the second time was pretty much dead on. So we're gonna roll with that. Got the seed hose hooked back up on that outside row, and we're gonna run for a while. I don't know if I'll get this field done or not, but it's fairly straight running once I get going, so may be able to run halfway late here. It's about 5 o'clock, a little before 5 o'clock, so it's about to get dark. But at least we're rolling and things are more or less working. The drill itself is doing pretty well. Still working on getting the discs shined up. They're pretty rusty from sitting outside for several years. So that's kind of a work in progress, I guess. So I think it'll do better with handling the residue the more acres we go over. But overall, it's serving the purpose, I guess. Haven't had too much trouble with plugged seed tubes. I've been checking every once in a while. It has like blockage monitors, if you can see the little red dots there. There's no seed coming through now, so they're all lit up. And there's also a horn that goes off with a little control box thing in here that I've got disabled at the moment. But it seems that 3 or 4 of those don't appear to be working because they're lit up when we're going across the field, and the tubes don't seem to be plugged. And some of the others, you have to be booking right along before they go out. So I think probably there's some room for some improvement or rework on the sensing electronic stuff inside those. I don't know if they're could be just dirty or if something's actually malfunctioning, but for the time being, probably, since we're just doing cover crop, I'm gonna kind of try to just keep an eye on it. It seems like when they plug, it'll kick the seed out, like blow back rather than blow down the tube. So just kind of keep an eye on that and check that there's air coming out of the bottom of the row units every once in a while, and hopefully we'll be able to get some cover crops done here. All right, we're auto steering, planting some rye here. Just crossed a little bit of a depression, but it's not doing too bad really. It's kind of breaking up the stalks a little bit, but not a lot, because it's almost kind of hard to tell where I've been and where I haven't. I'll kind of try to hold the camera back here and watch the front of the tractor. I'm not sure if I had seen online or if it was the people that I bought the drill from that sort of said they work better the faster you drive, especially as far as the closing system. They just kind of throw some dirt around. So we're running about a little over 8 miles an hour right now, about 8.4 at the moment. And as long as the field is smooth enough, it seems to be doing pretty well. Might even get a nice sunset this evening. I think there was a pretty nice one last night, at least in some areas, but I wasn't outside with the sunset yesterday, so I missed out. It's Thursday, November 14th, and we are doing some cover crops. I forgot to grab my good camera, so you're getting some cell phone footage. It's been pretty cold this week. This is the first that I've been able to do some, was going to do some yesterday, and then found there's some reinforcements where the bars, the tubes go back underneath the hopper on the seed trailer part. The tubes were cracked and had been patched, and Dad noticed that the welds were cracked. So spent yesterday afternoon, later afternoon, fixing that as opposed to putting seed in the ground, but getting some done today anyway. Hoping that get quite a bit done today and tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be half decent finally. Next week looks good too, but I'm hoping that I can get it done this week if possible, just so it's in the ground longer or can get sprouted and stuff.